10,000 fearless on the move. Let's go. Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punchbowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. This is it. Sip. Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields will wait the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Did you say Mississippi? This is it. 10K fearless on the move. This is it. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us. See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Are you listening? This is it. Sip. 10K fearless. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. In Mississippi, Mississippi. 10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you, and welcome to another edition of the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. I am your brother and host, Abdul Shahid Muhammad. And please allow me to begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We bear witness to the oneness of God, the oneness of his prophets, and the oneness of the messages that were revealed through them to the whole of humanity. We thank him for Moses and the Torah, or the Old Testament. We thank him for Jesus and the Injil, better known to us as the Gospel. And we certainly thank him for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Please, once again, allow me to greet you with the greeting words of peace in the language of all of the prophets of God of Assalamu alaikum. And that only means may peace be unto you. Brothers and sisters, it is certainly good to be back before these microphones. It is certainly our prayer that we will share that which will be beneficial to your spiritual growth and development, and to serve as guidance in these troubling times, and to inform us of what's going on right around us. We have some guests that we are expecting to give us a call. And in my estimation, this is as all of our programs, our dear brothers and sisters, they are designed, and this podcast is designed for the purpose of the dissemination of information that's important to us in its ability, particularly to negatively impact us as a people in the community and to serve to benefit us. So we're going to sound the alarm for this particular broadcast because we want to bring attention to an issue that's not new. In fact, it's almost 470 years old, to be quite frank with you, if we were to put it that way. But before I get into all of that, let me get my axioms out of the way. We always use what I call axioms. And in case you're wondering, an axiom is a statement or a proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true to serve as a premise or starting point for further reasoning and arguments. Okay? So, and here is the first axiom that I'd like to use. And I'd like the audience, hopefully you'll call in as you do, or you'll type something on the dashboard and ask me a question, and I'll do my best to respond. But the first axiom, brothers and sisters, we choose is from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, where he says, "He who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your activity." Well, the diameter of our knowledge has always been given to us by the same people who restricted our diameter of knowledge. The local media outlets and all of the information sources, for the most part, come to us from those who don't have our best interest as a people and a community at heart. So it would behoove us, brothers and sisters, to seek other information sources that are more reliable. In other words, expand our diameter of knowledge so we can expand our circumference of activity and we become those who dictate and navigate how we move and how we express. Okay. Second one is also from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, wherein he wrote, quote, or said, quote, "A slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master." And that certainly is true where we're concerned. Our power and authority on all levels, our economic power and authority, our political power and authority, even our community level power and authority is ruled over somebody else. So our sphere is limited according to the people who exert the power and authority over us. So brothers and sisters, if you're tired of it, then we need to begin to do some things. First thing is we got to change the way we think, and we can't change the way we think with the same old information. And the third one I like to give to us is from our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King, during the talk he gave, Crisis in American Cities, in the wake of the 1960s riots. He quoted a man by the name of Victor Hugo who said, "If the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not he who commits the sin, but he who causes the darkness." And I want to leave you with one last one that I've taken this one to heart from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he said these words to us, and this goes for us, of course, in general, but particularly for those of us who God positions, not self-position, but God positions us and circumstances positions us in a role that is often called leadership. I don't like using that language, particularly where myself is concerned. I consider myself a helper, a person who is helping our people and serving. So the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said these words, quote, "When you see men fall, don't laugh, learn. Learn because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at someone else's or somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you're laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make a mockery and not to understand is to make the same mistake yourself," end quote. So brothers and sisters, those are our axioms. Please keep them in mind as we move forward through tonight's program. And at about 7:15, which is about 5 minutes from now, we're going to have our brother William Muhammad come on and give us the farm report. I see you brothers and sisters coming on to the podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. I see my brother Simo, just stand by, brother. I see my brother Lumumba, but I need you over on the dashboard, brother Lumumba. so I can talk to you. And that's our brother down in Senatobia, Mississippi, who is at ground zero and knows exactly what is going on. So we're going to get it from a perspective that has eyes on it and lives in it and among it, from our brother Patrick Lumumba Alexander. But until then, until our farm report is completed, we always like to acknowledge the people that aid and support us on this podcast, and we are so thankful for them. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these commercial messages.
20 past 12, chilling in the studio, taking over the world. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. I come in peace, I don't mean you no harm. I say assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. I come in peace, I don't mean you know, I don't mean you know. See, I come in peace, ain't nobody I am hurting, except my enemies, but for my brothers I am working. Cause the powers that be wanna see this why they're lurking. We're both making up peace, but different food we are serving. See, mine is for the thought, adding substance to the
worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the listen live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme, be supreme, drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water, 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoes.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes, brothers and sisters, we are back at the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. Once again, I am your host and brother, Abdul Shahid Muhammad. In just a moment here, I saw somebody trying to get in here. Do that again, whoever that was. I think that was you, Brother Lumumba, if you were trying to hit one of the 8 circles, brother, at the top of your dash. I want to make sure we get you in. But in a moment here, we're going to be hearing from our brother. As a matter of fact, right at this moment, Brother William. Okay, I see you, Brother William. I see where you are. I'm up in to pull you in now. We got to get our farm report in because We just finished our staple goods ordering, and all of our orders are in. We got well
You're
over
Mohammed.
500 pounds of stuff that's coming in, and I think I got my brother William. He decided to just call me via telephone. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
How you doing, Brother Shaheed?
Brother, I'm on top of the world and blacktastic and getting better, brother. How about yourself and your family?
Yes, sir. We're doing all right. All praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
I'm good, brother. I know you multitasking, brother. I can hear it in your voice. Yeah, I know you. I already know you got them new twins, man. They keep you busy, Chief, aren't they?
Yes, sir. And I'm on a conference call with the State Ministry of Agriculture, but I got off so that I can get on the call and give you a report.
Okay, brother, please go right ahead. I don't want to hold you no longer because I don't want you to miss what's going on the farm throughout the Nation of Islam. Go ahead, brother. Update us as to what's going on.
Yes, sir. Right now, we're in the process of trying to set up a system for distribution. We are actually looking to break the state up into regions. The state of Mississippi, and we're going to have a point person that would be responsible for distributing goods to the believers in those particular areas and other people who want, to get some of the produce.
Yes, sir.
And that we're brainstorming that right now. But the brother did say that, inshallah, about June the 15th, we will have available okra, yellow squash, string beans, tomatoes, and peppers.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be our first harvest.
Yes, sir.
And we're also looking to get some cabbage, onions, and a few other things, cucumbers, and there were several other things that he didn't just mention. So if all goes well, we will be harvesting around June the 15th.
Okay.
And he's also asking that if there are any believers who would like to participate in the harvesting, in which they'll be able to get something, they're more than welcome. That's what we're starting with first. We're trying to supply the believers first,
right?
And then we're going to move out to a broader population.
Praise be to Allah. So if you go down there, you can go down there and pick it, and you can get you something to eat. Is that about the size of it?
Yes, sir. That about sums it up. So sometime next month, if everything goes well, God willing, I'll be able to bring something up to Holly Springs as well. So that the believers, right. So I'm gonna be making phone calls and reaching out to people, putting it in the announcement.
Yes, sir.
For those who want something,
right?
And we're gonna do it so that right. We're gonna have it, the information put out, what will be available, and the date I can bring it up, and then the believers can get it.
Yes, sir. And if we have any surplus, man, we want to make it available. And brothers and sisters, we'll be right there at 165 North Memphis Street, right there in Holly Springs, Mississippi. And we are starting to connect with other farms and people who are producing food. I know my brother Lumumba is down there in Coldwater, or is that Senatobia, I should say. He'll let me know if I'm correct or incorrect, where he's got some seeds in the ground and he is growing food. So we need all resources available to us because we need to flip the script with regard to the distribution of our dollars. Real quick before you go, brother, let us know how's the Hoop House project coming in Holly Springs. We're building a Hoop House in Holly Springs.
Yes, sir. Well, hopefully, if Brother James is available to come Sunday, to go ahead and ply the ground up. I had a very busy week. I was hoping that we could get up there one day this week, but due to the weather, we got held up on the job. That my brother, he's in construction.
Right.
And so the weather kind of held us back, and we had to work as much as we can while we had some good weather in order to try to get, caught up. So I wasn't able to get to Holly Springs so that we could plow the ground up.
Right.
So I'm waiting to hear from him before tomorrow to see if we can get up there with the tractor after the meeting is over Sunday. Hopefully he'll drive, he'll drive it on up there. So that's the plan for me. So I'm just waiting on him, to give me okay, he'll be able to do that. So if it goes as planned, it'll be this Sunday when the ground will be broken.
Right.
Be plowed up with the tractor. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you calling and giving us a report. I know we completed our staple goods, and we had some people. My cousin, man, ordered a whole bunch of stuff out of Memphis. So that's why we went well over our 500-pound minimum in terms of ordering from our farm, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan's farm, brother, to get our beans and all of our staple goods to stock up on. So, Brother William, man, thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. Brother, we appreciate you coming on and keeping us updated on what's happening with our seeds in the ground. May Allah continue to bless you with safe travels, brother, and to continue the good work you do. All right, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam, sir.
Praise be to Allah. That was our brother William Muhammad. We certainly appreciate his report. So we're going to shift gears. We're going to move right into tonight's conversation. And tonight's conversation asks the question, does the Senatobia, Mississippi Police Department have a goon squad? That is a very relevant question, given the recent activity of members of the Senatobia, Mississippi Police Department. It begs this question. Do y'all have a goon squad down there? Because there certainly was one in Rankin County, Mississippi, and I've heard too many episodes of citizens being heavily handled and unnecessarily roughed up, beat up, even killed, with minimal to no investigation, instances where members, family members, are not being allowed access to public information once investigations are completed. We heard about our brother Rasheem Carter down in Taylorsville, Mississippi, comes up missing, went to the police department there for aid and assistance. They put him out, left him to those who essentially hunted our brother down and murdered him. And the only thing that was left was a few skeletal remains of our brothers. And this is just one of many instances where this is happening to us. I see my brother Lumumba. Oh, there he is. I'm glad you're on, my brother. So let me go ahead and welcome to tonight's program two men that I had the opportunity to meet with. I was invited this past Saturday down to Senatobia, Mississippi, to Kemet Coffee House. And then that's another place. I need to do a commercial jingle for that too, because we need to begin to redirect our dollars to places that are friendly to us. And I was there with Brother Dovsack and Brother Lumumba and others, Brother Charles Moore, and I think Keith Mack and some others that were there, and citizens from the community and victims, whereby we began to discuss putting this on the map and shedding a brighter light, and more importantly, getting involved. So let's welcome to the program, Brother Lumumba. You there, sir? I see him on the dashboard, but I don't hear him. Brother Simo, are you there? Yeah, I hear you now, Brother Lumumba. You there? Brother Simo, you there?
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, well, yes, sir. Loud and clear now. You're good and loud and clear, my brother. I see Brother Simo there, but I'm not getting a response for him. I'm thinking that's Brother Charles Moore. He's showing connected on to the program. Welcome to the program, Brother Lumumba, man, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule, man, to join us this evening, because we want to highlight and bring as much attention as possible to what's happening in Senatobia. And what's happening in Senatobia certainly is not unique to Senatobia, as we all know. I see my brother Simo is coming back on. I'm letting you in, Brother Simo. And when you get in, brother, just say a few words so I'll know that you're on with us. Okay? But brother, certainly what's happening there is not unique. So brother Lumumba, man, as I asked earlier, could you bring our audience up to speed to recent events that have transpired there in Senatobia? And before that, Brother Simo, are you there? I see you online, Brother Simo, but I don't hear you, brother. Turn your phone up or take it off mute if you have it on mute. But Brother Lumumba, if you would, brother, bring us up to speed and the audience up to speed on what's happening and what has happened there in Senatobia.
Yes, sir.
I think I lost you, Brother Lumumba.
Right, brother.
Okay, there you are.
Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, I think what's happening is we have a delay in the transfer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm, I'm gonna speak and then it's gonna be a pause. I guess before
Yes, sir.
you actually I guess can hear me. But all right, so let me go ahead and explain. So what's happening here in Senatobia is a pattern of terrorism that's been taking place for some time now. It's ingrained in the culture of the policing here in Senatobia. And your overarching statement and question today is: does Senatobia have a goon squad? I think all of it just went off. Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right. I'm technologically deficient, so y'all got to bear with me. But
It's all
I'm
right, brother.
yes, sir. So yeah, so we have a pattern of police corruption, a culture of police corruption that's been enhanced by administration that had come in that's okay, with this corruption from the mayor on down to some of the lower city officials. Everybody's okay with this type of police behavior. So the recent event that we're dealing with is an event where two of our young ladies, young girls, I may say, were physically assaulted by the Senatobia Police Department. This follows events that people should know about, concerning Quintavious Eason, and also
Uh-huh.
incidents following our brother Commander Mark LaSure, where he was lawfully violated by the Senatobia Police Department and charged erroneously with felony charges. So this terrorism that's taking place, brother, is most definitely terrorism that's taking place here in Senatobia. It's incriminating black citizens that deserve criminal records, and it's beginning a consistent pattern. And
Yes, sir.
that's what we got, brother. We got a pattern of corruption, a pattern of terrorism that's taking place here in Senatobia. And to answer your question, most definitely we have a goon squad here in Senatobia.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Now, I want to review because I really want the audience to get a good view from what's going on in Senatobia, not only from a brother that's there and been there struggling between Senatobia and Coldwater, all the way to Texas and Jackson, Mississippi, and many other areas of the country, and talking with brothers and sisters that are in the Black liberation struggle from as far away as New York to Texas to DC and other areas of the country. Because I've had the pleasure of being in the company, the august company of those brothers and sisters that convened in Senatobia for the Black Power Summit that you would have there, brother, and as well as the Elmer Geronimo Gun Club that has been established there. So, brother, if you would start with Quintavious and give us, paint a picture for the audience, brother, what happened to our young brother when he was encountered by the police?
Yes, sir. Well, the story with Quintavious Eason should be one that we should know across the
Yes, sir.
South for sure. But what happened with Quintavious Eason, his mom was at attorney Leanne Darby's office, actually concerning
Mhm.
the school system and seeking assistance from the attorney to get them in the school system, which she was having difficulty doing. And while she was in there, there was a public sign that basically said no public restrooms. And these children already knew that it was not a public restroom in Miss Darby's office. So Quintavious, having to relieve himself, but understanding he was in a public situation, stepped outside the backside passenger door and kind of, positioned himself in the crevice of the door,
Uh-huh.
to position himself to hide himself because he do know he was in the public, but he had to relieve himself.
Right.
Upon doing that, an officer just so happened to see him riding by, and he pulled over to address him. And when he addressed him, he excuse me, he went inside and got his mother, Miss Latanya Easton. And so she came outside with the officer and reprimanded young Quintavious, told him that he shouldn't have been doing that, and that, that's something that he shouldn't have done. Well, once the officer, oversaw her doing that, and that reminded me of some type of plantation stuff right there, just reprimanding the child in front of the master, and everything will be all right, But, in that particular situation, once she did that, the officer said, well, okay, it's okay. We'll let it all, it's okay. It'll be okay. But he had already called this situation in. So the call was made from the top, from Richard Chandler, from Lieutenant, I can't call his name right now, but they made, his superiors made calls to go ahead and respond to that situation, which meant bring heavier police force to that situation. So even though the situation was quelled and pretty much resolved by the mother and the cop on hand, it was a higher call that was made that overrode that officer's discernment, and they proceeded to come to that scene. Once they got there, they notified the officer that Quintavious would be going to jail. And this was an absolute shock to Latoya, the mother. And she said, y'all can't be serious about taking my baby to jail. And as she was asking them if they could be serious or not, they were putting handcuffs on young Quintavious and stuffing him in the paddy wagon. And they took him to jail. Yes, sir.
A 10-year-old baby.
A 10-year-old baby.
Now, for context, I want to read what the chief himself put out in the public. From the chief's desk, it reads, it comes from there, Senatobia, Mississippi Police Department, Facebook page. They posted it. And I vetted it and it's got the chief's signature on it. Richard, I think it says Richard Chandler.
That's right.
Now listen at what he said, brother and audience. He said, we would like to address the recent incident involving the arrest of a 10-year-old child. In situations like these, the Youth Court Act guides how officers may deal with juveniles during enforcement encounters. Notice it says how officers may deal. I notice you said a decision was made further up the chain. It was not left to the officer's discretion who was on the scene and had eyes on it. It continues, it says, the Youth Court Act allows officers to file a referral against a child as young as 7 years old if they are in need of supervision, which may also be based on delinquent acts, or 10 years old if they commit acts that would be illegal for an adult under identical circumstances, i.e., a delinquent act. The need to transport children from a scene depends on a variety of factors and the availability of reasonable alternatives. In this situation, an officer personally witnessed a 10-year-old child committing an act in public which would have been illegal for an adult under these circumstances. The officer did not observe a parent on the scene during the initial contact. The mother was located at a nearby business shortly thereafter, and she was advised that her child was going to receive a youth court referral for this matter. The officers then transported the 10-year-old to the police station to complete the paperwork, where the child was released to the mother. The child was not handcuffed during the incident, according to the chief. Under these circumstances, he continues, it was an error in judgment for us to transport the child to the police station since the mother was present at that time as a reasonable alternative. Mistakes like this are a reminder in this profession as to the continual need for training and refreshers on the various topics that we encounter each day. Now, he put out a second one, family. Listen. Dear Senatobia community, several of our officers were recently involved in an incident that involved a 10-year-old juvenile. The officer's decision violated our written policy and went against our prior training on how to deal with these situations. The following day, the mother of that child came into the Senatobia Police Department to speak to an officer about a separate civil matter. Our officers were aware that she had an active warrant through juvenile court and contacted Tate County Sheriff's Office to take custody of her. The Senatobia Police Department has a process for investigating complaints from the public and complaints that originate internally. This incident triggered an internal complaint that was investigated according to our procedures. As a result of this investigation, one of the officers involved is no longer employed, and the others will be disciplined. We will also have mandatory juvenile training department-wide, just as we do every year. We appreciate the public's patience while we investigated this incident. We deeply value our trust and support. We deeply value your trust and support, and we are dedicated to continually improving and learning from our mistakes. Together, we will all move forward towards building a safer and more respectful environment for all. Now, that's his words. Now, listen what it says in the document that he said that guides how officers deal with juveniles. It's called the Youth Court Act. And I did a little research, Brother Lumumba. And it says, quote, police actions are severely limited by the Youth Court Act. And under the title heading arrest, it says only the youth court judge or his designee can order the arrest of a child who is within the jurisdiction of the youth court. The judge will not authorize an arrest warrant unless there is good reason to believe the following. One, the child is within the jurisdiction of the youth court and custody is necessary to protect the child or other people or to ensure the child's attendance in court, or the parents or guardians are not available to care for the child and there is no alternative to arrest. I'm going to stop right there. Now, this man said in his statement that the Youth Court Act governs how they deal with juveniles. They are guided by it. So to say that that was a mistake is a stretch, if you ask me, to characterize that as a mistake. Right. And dealing more respectfully with the public, take issue with that as well. So essentially, brother, and when the sister comes to complain, all of a sudden she's got a warrant. They didn't know she had a warrant when they encountered her the day of the arrest. Those are questions I have. Right. So, brother, what are your thoughts, man, as it relates to comparing his statement, and you heard it and the audience heard it, versus what the document he said that governs him says about dealing with juveniles?
Well, clearly
there's a delay.
We see
so
that they
brother,
don't abide by.
Oh, okay. He's on mute. Let me unmute you, brother.
Okay.
You there, Brother Lumumba?
I
see you there, but
good.
There's a cross through your
yes, sir, I'm here.
microphone, and it's not allowing me to unmute you.
I can hear him.
Oh, you can hear him, Brother Simo?
Yes, sir.
I don't hear him at all. Wow.
Okay. Brother Minister, is
I don't
not
know what's
telling me that
going on
I'm
with
muted.
that, dear family.
So you can't hear me? Mm. Yeah, I can hear you clearly. And I think some of the other listeners can hear me.
Yes, sir.
So
I don't know why I can't hear you, Brother Lumumba. My audience is saying that they are hearing you, but I am not hearing you, dear brother. And I see you on my dashboard, but it's not allowing me to unmute you on my dashboard. So I got a secondary device in here where I can hear what's going on. So, brother, I didn't hear your complete response.
yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Brother
sir. I can
Minister?
hear you via another device that's adjacent to me.
Okay. So I just wanted to respond to what you just read. And what should jump out blatantly at the audience is that, and what I want to point out is that clearly, this police chief and his administration does not follow their own policy. And I'm seeing this firsthand dealing with these accounts that he's exacting uh his power on. In the case of Quintavious, none of what that policy suggested took place. What Chandler's mode of operation is, Chandler does what he want to do, and then he has a syndicate of mischief that goes all the way up to the judges that provide him his warrants to do the unlawful things that he do. So he has no restriction from doing things that's unlawful. Notice I didn't say illegal. They are very unlawful. Legal don't mean lawful. So he know he's moving legally because he have legal protection, and the mischief goes all the way up to the judges that corroborate with him when he's doing these unlawful things against black people. Because see, those policies that you read it, when I'm listening to those policies, I'm trying to see, is it any event where these policies pertain to white children? Even when
Yes, sir.
even when they are being written, is the crafters of these policies thinking about this being administered on white children? The ankle bracelet monitors, the whole process, the juvenile, when they have to dispatch them to the juvenile detention center, the crafters of these policies, are they even thinking about their children? And I don't think so. And I think when we think about it on that level, we'll begin to see, how this thing can be so easily administered over the black community, especially with an incentivized racist administration like we have here in Senatobia. Not saying that we don't have them in other places. I've been all across the state. We got goon squads in Rankin County. We got goon squads in Gulfport, Mississippi. We got goon squads in Taylorsville, Mississippi. And the list goes on and on and on. And if we had
Yes, sir.
more proactive black community throughout Mississippi, we'll find that we got a goon squad in multiple places in all 82 counties.
I would venture
So,
to agree,
we on
brother.
a mission now, brother. We have connected with Brother Seymour. Yes, sir. So I'll put a pin in it right there, brother, because I know it's a delay in the conversation.
That's all right, my brother. I certainly appreciate your commentary, man. And you are absolutely right, brother. And for the time that I've been in Holly Springs, working amongst the brothers and sisters there and hearing the horror stories from brothers and sisters of what's happening in Mississippi, I'm taken aback. And we have to begin to do something in a collective manner, in an organized and unified way to bring an end to this. Man, it's 2024. So I have a couple of other brothers on. I have my brother Keith Mack on and brother Charles Moore. Brother Moore, what say ye, brother, to what brother Lumumba so well articulated in terms of how and what the modus operandi is of the local powers that be there in Senatobia.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir. You're kind of low. If you can turn yourself up as loud as you can.
Okay. What about now? Is that better?
Yeah, speak directly into the phone and loudly too. Okay.
Okay. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with the motives. What the thing that I'm looking at is that we are at a repeat session of the historic move of the civil rights.
Oh, I lost you, brother Simo. You there? I don't know what's going on today, brothers and sisters, but we normally don't have these kinds of issues. Tell you what, brother Simo, do me this favor. Call me at 901 864 5027. That is a direct hit. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask Brother Keith Mack. Brother Keith Mack, could you respond to what they say their policy is and what you heard from Brother Lumumba in response to what I read out?
Well, I just got on, brother. Peace to each and every one that are listening.
And introduce yourself too, brother. I forgot to ask Brother Simo to do that.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I'm Alderman Mack from Coldwater, Mississippi. I serve Ward 1, elected official here in Coldwater. And I picked up on my brother at the end. I just got on the podcast with you all.
Okay. Okay.
But real quick, about an hour ago, I was at Walmart and one of my brother was out panhandling. He said he would need some money to get something to eat and trying to get to the next location. And we had a conversation with him. All of a sudden, law enforcement pulled up. A black law enforcement. He called the man. He said, "Hey, come here." I said, "Excuse me. What you mean?" He said, "No, him." I said, "Why you want him?" He said, "He out here." I said, "No, sir. He talking to me."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Who called you here?" He said, "Well, ain't nobody got to call me here." I said, "Oh, most definitely. You on private property.
Uh-huh.
You on private property. Who is you? Don't worry about who am I. Don't worry about who am I. I'm a taxpayer.
Mm-hmm.
I make your salary. So I'm asking you, what you doing on private property? Trying to call a citizen. Somebody had to call you. No, I'm not talking to you. I said, yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lady, the manager, black lady, come out the store. Yeah. He said, this lady here called me. Because he would want to automatic just put handcuffs on him. No, sir. You can't do that, brother. That's violation.
Mm-hmm.
You on private property. So you might well be arresting me, brother.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And so he wanted to talk to him. I said, I need to talk to you before you leave here.
And this was in Coldwater.
Senatobia at Walmart.
Okay. Okay.
And so the young black lady, the sister, said he threatened the black other sister. I don't know, never seen her. And I asked her.
He said the sister that he said called him in the first place?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And she a manager of the store.
Okay.
And quote unquote, she said the black sister was standing beside her, said he threatened her.
Mm.
But my thing was to the officer, you just don't pull up and put handcuffs on nobody on private property. You got to have a reason. And I asked him, what's your reason? Did you get a call? He said, well, I ain't got the answer.
Yes, sir.
And I said, well, brother, you got the answer. That's law.
Well, let me say this, brother. Even if police is called to a scene, they still have to have probable cause to arrest somebody. They can't just arbitrarily pull up and on site take it upon themselves to put nobody in handcuffs, whether it's public or private property. So what it sounds like to me, somebody, I mean, based on your assessment of what you saw, you were there, is that these officers have been emboldened in such a way that if they get a call or if they don't get a call, they can come up and just tell somebody to come here. Look, if the police, listen, brothers and sisters, let me tell y'all something. And I'm not an speaking from a spectator position. I've been in law enforcement coming up on 31 years. Okay. And throughout these United States of America, a police officer does not have the right to on demand to just stop you. Now, only somebody I know that has stop and frisk policy is in New York, and they've been having a hell of problems with that policy. Officers can only engage in what it's called a consensual encounter. If I haven't committed a crime, if you don't suspect me of committing a crime, if I have committed one, and I ask you, well, what crime did I commit? Did I do something wrong, officer? And if he says no, you have the right to walk away. And if he says, come here, you do not have to obey that unlawful command. That's like the Gestapo of the Nazis. You can't just arbitrarily stop a citizen and say, come here, and he's obligated to respond to your come here. That's unlawful that's unlawful seizure. You impede my progress against my will, and I have not committed a criminal offense, and you do it in the name of I'm the police. That's an unlawful seizure of my person. So, but brother, thank you for that. I think Brother Seymour is back on. Brother Seymour, are you audible, brother?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Good, loud and clear now, brother. Please continue.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, as you asked me to ascertain the question that you're asking me, I agree with Brother Patrick Lumumba 1,000%. I think that this is a circuit. I think that we're in a position that they're in the middle of their. I will go back to the civil rights time before I was born. The things that I read about back in history. Mm-hmm. They are creating a system, and they're on like a resurgent to bring this thing back. And because for some reason, many of our black people are silent, and they some have made a few dollars and got a few degrees, and so they feel that this thing is not affecting them. It's not on them. But they're beginning now to restrict and to systematically move you out of certain areas and corral you into certain other areas. And they're rolling back all the laws, everything black people have had here in America as it relates to rights. It has to be voted on. And I don't think many black people recognize that. You don't have human rights unless they voted on them. And that's a scary thing to recognize, that you don't even have the right to exist in somebody in America unless they give you a right to exist if you're black. White people have voted on this. So what I see and I believe is that we need to move not accordingly, but actually rally this thing as if we are pro on all of this. Our pro food, our pro health, our pro political, our pro economics. We can't move along with them in the midst of this and win. Because if we don't get ahead of them, they're already 2 steps moving already when we try to strike out. You know, after 400 and some odd years of this here in America, and now some of us have relaxed so much that we think that because someone smiles on our face, that it's okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because somebody gives us a job, it's okay. Or because someone passes on the back and give us $10 million in a contract, that we're okay. But at the end of the day, you still black.
Yes, sir.
And our mentalities that have come is that we've forgotten, many of us have forgotten and look over that we are black, we are dark-skinned, melanin people that are still being oppressed. Yes, and so we don't live like we're being oppressed, or we live like it's okay until something really happens to wake us up. And then we still think that, I can't believe they've done this in 2024. Man, they've been trying to find ways to oppress you since the inception of America. They hadn't left that mode.
That's right.
And you must remember that, because the moment you forget that is the moment you open yourself up for the things that happened to your forefathers and your ancestors. Don't
Yes,
ever forget that.
yes, sir.
Although they try to change the history and not won't allow you to teach this in school, you still need to teach it yourself at your homes and at your churches and at your synagogues and at your tables and at your ball games, and
Mhm.
find a space that you operate and control, and stop trying to mingle. Because what I've seen that we've done is that even our multimillionaires that we have, many of them distance themselves from us as people, as
Yes,
black people. They've done this.
yes, sir.
And so, with that being said, to fight seems sometimes to be egregious toward their success,
Yes, sir.
black people's success.
Come on.
So, I agree with my brother Lumumba, and I stand in solidarity with him.
Yes, sir.
In the midst of all of this, I stand in solidarity with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the nation, because as I've observed the teachings, I love the teachings. I love the understanding.
Yes, sir. We lost you again, brother. Wake your phone back up. When your phone go to sleep, we lose you.
Yes, sir. I noticed that. I figured that. I have to be honest that as I have become awakened to so many different things, I recognize how as the conformity that I had been as a child and didn't even know it, and as a man and didn't even know it, conforming to colonization.
Mm-hmm.
Although I fought back all the time, I still recognize the conformity. I'm still trying to get out from under the conformity, because there's still some things I have to, like, are you serious? Are you serious? And I have to make myself, I can't accept this, but somehow it stagnates me when I move to fight against it.
Yes,
So I
sir.
recognize that it's something that we all struggle with.
Yes.
And many of us don't recognize that we struggle with the colonization that our forefathers have lived under and taught us unknowingly. So with that being said,
Yes,
there
sir.
is a goon squad there, and I do stand in solidarity with us, and we have to move accordingly to
Yes,
not fight evenly with them, but to fight above them.
that's correct. Okay, my brother. Brother, thank you so much. I want to move quickly to, because I wanted Brother Lumumba to recount the second incident. That was one with Brother Mark LeSure. You still there, right, Brother Lumumba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm
Yes, sir.
here.
If you would please, brother, continue and dovetail right into this most recent piece. And then I want to discuss or talk about some answers, man. And what
No
can
doubt.
we do? I want to
No
get
doubt.
into that, okay? So please proceed, sir.
Well, let me be expedient first in doing this right here, brother minister, if you don't mind. Let me just kind of recount what these two brothers just said, because I wrote some
Go
things
right
down I
ahead.
think the audience should be aware of. Now, first of all, Brother Mac, he was talking about something that took place right here in Senatobia. Okay. And Senatobia and Coldwater is very close in proximity. You can almost throw a rock from Senatobia to Coldwater. So he was down here and he witnessed a panhandler, which was a black man, that probably was out there asking people for money. No more of a nuisance than when they got the St. Jude out there, if you're asking me. You know what I'm saying? I would rather give my money to a black man that's asking me directly for help than to give my money to an organization where I don't really know where it's going. I mean, that might contradict some people thinking, but that's how I think. But what I'm simply saying is that that black officer that responded to that, whatever the call that was made or whatever, he came and he began to aggress the brother with no respect for his humanity. This is nothing more to me. I'm an athlete. I'm a former athlete. And when you are an athlete, you pick up on systematic teachings. Like, the players take on the mindset of the coach. Have we heard about that? How the players take on the mindset of the coach? That's what's happening with these goon squad. See, first of all, you have to have a man with the demeanor of a Chandler. You know, just like you have a man with the demeanor like Donald Trump. You know, I think it's a Donald Trump in every white person in America, regardless of whether they're liberal, conservative, or whatever. It's some Donald Trump in every white person in America. So I just want to make that point, because that black officer has done exactly what my dear brother Seymour is talking about. That black officer has assimilated his mindset into the mindset of his leader. And
That's
that's what
right.
we do. That's what we do so often in this society. We have assimilated. I was thinking about today. I wake up with headaches, brother. I wake up feeling drained. I don't sleep because I think about this thing all the time, this black liberation, the oppression that my people are suffering. I've been doing this, been waking up like this for a long time. And I realized, I said, I'm not getting paid for this.
Right.
I'm not getting paid for this. But we have so many people that I have come across in this struggle that say they in this struggle, but they also in the white man system and they get paid to do what they do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. And I understand my brother Seymour. It's hard for us to fight this battle because sometimes we willingly turn a blind eye to the reality of what's really taking place because we on a cooperative level, on some level with this system. So I agree with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I agree with Marcus Garvey. I agree with Elijah Muhammad. I agree with W.E.B. Du Bois. I agree with Booker T. Washington. At some point, we have to build something for ourselves because assimilating into the system would never allow us to have the type humanity that would be respected by our oppressor. Because he
That's
knows
correct.
that we are assimilated people. And the best of us are still locked into that system. And see, when I meet brothers like Seymour on this journey, brothers like Nick Bezel, brothers like yourself on this journey, I know that we have hope. So I wanted to just say that, brother, before we
Thank
move
you,
on
brother.
to
Thank you
these
for
other
saying
brothers.
that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
But
let
yeah,
me say quickly,
yes,
brother,
sir. Go ahead.
but before you continue, the thought just, I had the thought on the tip of my tongue and left my mind. But you go ahead, brother, and continue. And believe it or not, brother, Black people are so predisposed, lending our mind and energy to things that really are non-substantive, that you wouldn't believe that people don't know what happened with Quantavious. People don't know what happened with Brother Mark LaSure. And people don't know what just happened. So if you would, brother, share with the audience what happened with Brother Mark LaSure.
Brother Mark LaSure, briefly, my brother, my comrade, my friend. He was assaulted in his own home. As we all know, Brother Mark LaSure is a barber, and he's also a herbalist. And he was conducting some barbering in his home when his stepson entered his home and said that the police were chasing him. Now, it's always ironic to me that these children are getting out of school when these police are assaulting them. They're getting out of school, brother. So he came home from school and basically rushed into the home of Mark and said, the police is out there chasing me. And Mark said, turned his clippers off and he said, well, what's going on? So when he went to his door, Mark opened his door to a squad of Senatobia police pointing guns at his front door. I mean, just think about how quick this stuff escalated. Okay? Pointing guns. So Mark proceeded to tell them in his own choice words, and if we know Mark, we know what he said. I'm not going to say that. But he was saying, put those MFing guns down. What are y'all doing? What didn't happen? For things to be at this point, this is like a SWAT team type action. So Mark, oblivious to what's going on, stepped outside the door, and our brother RV was there as well, and our brother Coach Kenzaki Jones was also there, and some other brothers. So they all stepped outside the door to engage the police officer to see what the matter was, and this thing went on for about 10 to 15 minutes till they managed to get some type of a truce. You know, put the guns down. Until Richard Chandler pulls up on the scene and takes liberty while Mark is negotiating with other police officers. Richard Chandler walks right into Mark's home. And one
Yes,
of
I
the
saw
brothers out
that.
there that's filming, which is Mark's cousin, told Mark, he said, wait a minute, man, that police just went right in your house. So Mark turned around and see Chandler going into the house, and Mark followed him into his own house, where Richard Chandler has already walked into headed to the back of his home. So Mark said, hey, man, hey, you need to come up out of here. And when Mark told him that, Richard Chandler turned around and went for a chokehold on Mark. And it went into an entanglement, and they wrestled Mark to the ground. And his goon squad, who had been talked down by Mark and the other brothers, they fell right in line. You know, the protocol. When Chandler comes, no question or asked, we're going to administer this terrorism, and y'all going to fall in place. So they began to shoot Mark with tasers. State paid for tasers we paid for. So began to shoot him with them. And Mark said out of his own mouth that Richard Chandler said that I'm going to kill you. And if Richard Chandler was not shot by one of his own goons, then it ain't nothing to stop me from believing that he would have tried to possibly break Mark's neck in that compromising situation and then write up one of these falsified police reports like they always do to cover themselves up. And then the white citizens of Senatobia who support them will bring them gifts just like what they did when they did that to Mark.
Man. And he also, there is a from the chief's desk statement on what happened in that instance. And I would like to share with the audience what the chief said in his account of what he said happened. Now, there's video footage of this. I watched it. The man unlawfully went into Brother Mark's house. They were looking for somebody, and they described him, had on a green hoodie. The young brother came out. So after he came out, what need was there for them to go into your home or Brother Mark's home?
That's right.
Because they came and found what they were looking for. And they was in the process of trying to unravel the ball of yarn that they created. Now, this is from the chief's desk. Once again, he says, Dear Senatobia community, on December 7, 2023, Senatobia police officers responded to a complaint by an adult male subject claiming to have been shot near Dean Street. Now, question, was there a shooting on Dean Street?
Was not. Was not.
I know. While checking the area of Dean Street, a suspicious male fled from officers on foot. Running is not unlawful. And what was the suspicious part? But I'm not going to analyze it. I'm going to just read it to you. The subject entered the residence located at 415 Dean Street. The residents of this address have a prior history of acting aggressively towards law enforcement. See, that's the groundwork, and I have to analyze this part. That's the police jargon that they use to justify what he's fixing to write. This is called embellishing the report. Officers encountered several black male subjects at the front door. During this encounter, now that's after they knocked on the door and said police. During this encounter, the subjects were given several commands to exit the residence, to which they eventually complied, including the initial suspect that fled. He admits in his report that the suspect that fled came out. During this encounter, officers observed, here come the lie, the strong smell of marijuana coming from within the residence. Officers then attempted to secure the residence so they could apply for a search warrant. Video don't show that officers trying to secure. Video shows the chief walking in the house alone, and his officers followed him in there after he turns, after Brother LaSure says, hey, come out of my house. He turns, grabs Brother LaSure by the throat, and the tussle begins. Then the rest of the officers came in.
That's right.
Then the officers attempted, according to what he writes, to secure the residence so they could apply for a search warrant. One of the occupants inside the residence did not comply with an officer's command to exit. This raised several concerns, including officer safety and destruction of potential evidence within the residence. During this time, homeowner Mark LaSure approached the officer inside of the home and refused to follow orders. So he put Brother Mark at the end of all of that when he's at the front of it. Officers used force to overcome his resistance, including soft hand techniques and taser deployment. Mark LaSure was then taken into custody. In total, 3 suspects were taken into custody from the residence, with one being a juvenile. Senatobia officers then served a search warrant on the residence. During the search, officers located a stolen military-style rifle, Schedule I narcotics, and paraphernalia. An illegally parked retired school bus was also towed from the front yard of the residence. If it was in the front yard, how was... Oh, never mind. Look at their ordinance. Homeowner Mark Alexis LaSure was charged with possession of stolen firearm, possession of controlled substance, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, assault on law enforcement officer, and expired tags.
Man.
R.V. Wright was charged with disorderly conduct. Senatobia Police Department is aware of several false statements and portrayals of this incident. We're also aware of several threatening statements made towards our officers by individuals and groups. These will be investigated and prosecuted if warranted. We have no further comment at this time. See, I could recognize, ooh, man, this is ridiculous.
Yes, sir. Can I respond for 1 second, brother?
Of course, yes, sir.
Thank you, brother minister. First of all, let's go back to them saying that somebody fled from them. That young brother in the green jacket did not flee from them. He was standing outside of Mark's home with some other brothers, young brothers, just kicking the bobo, as we say, standing outside talking to some of his peers. And he's seen a massive number of police who's supposed to have been responding to a call somewhere else across from Dean Street. Ain't no shots took place on Dean Street. In Dean's Alley. It's not even a street, it's an alley. Dean's Alley. And when he seen these police coming toward him and them aggressively, he didn't do nothing more than speed walk into the house. He didn't run. He speed walked into excuse me, into the house because he see police moving aggressively toward him. So he speed walked into the house. That's the first lie. Young man didn't even run from him. He speed walked into the house to tell Mark that these police are coming and I don't know what's going on. So naturally, a young black man that sees a number of police coming his way and he know he hadn't done nothing, he's going to move to where he feel comfortable. Get away. White police officers at that. The second lie that was told in this police report was that he was trying to retrieve somebody out of Mark's house that had refused to acknowledge coming out of the house. Well, that was Coach Kenzaki Jones, okay? School teacher, Coach Kenzaki Jones, who was awaiting a haircut, that was going to the back of Mark's home where he cut hair to retrieve a 10-year-old little boy who had been dropped off by his mom there. Chandler and his officers that point these guns with all this excessive police force did not know, nor did they care that it was a young man back there, but Coach Jones cared. And he seen this thing escalated to this point of volatility. He wanted to go and get the young man to make sure that the young man was secure, who was scared to death in the back of the home because he didn't know what was going on. He came to get a haircut. Okay. So Chandler is a blatant liar. He knows that he led with power and protection. He lied. He went into Mark's home and talking about they found stolen guns. Listen, man, that home that Mark is living in is a third, fourth generation rental home that was owned by Mark's mother, who is a school teacher. Mark's father died when he was 6 years old, who was a farmer. Mr. Washington LaSure was a farmer, and his wife, Miss Mary LaSure, was a school teacher. And that home that Mark is living in was a rental home that they rented to people in the community. And what Chandler is lying about is those guns that he found after he ascertained a bullcrap police report from a judge that didn't even supposed to render him clearance on that warrant. They had went up in Mark's attic after about 2 hours of trying to search and find stuff to justify this unlawful entry into Mark's home and beating Mark up. They found old guns in the attic they probably were used in the Civil War.
My God.
This how bad this is, man. This how bad this is. And the thing is, Brother Shaheed, Brother Seymour, and anybody else that's listening, these people are arrogant with these lies. They arrogant and bold with these lies, and they feel that the black community is incapable of organizing enough to stop them. John Henry Clark said that history is a set of circumstances and events that's going to continue to happen the way that they happen until you decide to stop them.
That's why it's cyclical. Those
Thank
who
you,
fail
sir.
to learn the lessons that history teach are doomed to repeat them.
Yes, sir.
So, man, my brother, if you would, brother, go ahead into what happened to our young sisters. And I'm going to read the police report. And it's 8:15. We got about 15 minutes left of actual airtime before I have to start another podcast. But if you would, brother, we counted, and I'm gonna read this article, and we're gonna have to keep this on the mind of the citizens of Senatobia and all of North Mississippi. We're gonna have to begin to get together and sit down and have some real conversations, man, whereby there's a level of organization. We have to begin to redistribute the pain and find out vulnerable areas where they can hurt, and we as a community can hurt them because they seem to be so bent on hurting us. But please, brother, go ahead.
No, sir. So the incident that we had now, these incidents have happened within a span of 6 or 7 months. All three of these incidents. So just recently now, the young ladies, which I'm thinking probably is the worst. I don't know if we should even categorize them as worse or whatever. But what I'm simply saying is that it happened to young girls, black girls. And what
13 and
basically happened
14.
was 13 and 14, Anaya and Alasia. Beautiful girls. I went in interviewed them myself because we needed to put some media out there to combat what it is that they got out there. Malcolm said that the white man media is his most powerful weapon. You know, he make these people look guilty that's actually innocent or whatever. So what I'm saying, brother, is that they got off the bus and they basically got off the bus into one of these barricades that they had set up because they had got a call saying that they had responded to some gunshots in the project, in the hood, the place where I grew up. And so these girls basically got off the bus into a war zone, basically, that was set up, parameters set up by Senatobia Police Department. So they were asked in a very confrontational way by Senatobia Police Department. The first one said, I think they said, one officer Dover, one of the officers said, y'all get the fuck out the road. Excuse my language.
That's
But
what she
that's what they
said.
said. The officer said that. So, and Chandler followed that up by saying, get y'all black ass on that sidewalk, which they did. But one of our young girls said, and what if we didn't? What you gonna do? Arrest us too? See, most people don't even know that she said that, arrest us too, because they were seeing young black men getting arrested. They think she just said, and what you gonna do? She didn't just say what you gonna do. She said, what you gonna do? Arrest us too? But at the same time, they had followed the order of Chandler and was on the sidewalk when she said it. So Chandler rushed to them and grabbed the youngest one by her arm, because the youngest one is the one that made the statement back to Chandler. He grabbed her by her arm, which she withdrew her arm. And when, again, on cue, when Chandler moved, the rest of the goons moved too. So when he grabbed her by the arm and she scuffled back and refrained from him, the other goons came and tackled her. And when they tackled her and began to assault her, the older sister started grabbing them to get them off of her sister, like any one of us would have done. These grown men, all over her sister. So when she did that, more of them came to restrain her, body slam her, and try to put handcuffs on her arm. So by their account, she said that they scuffled with her, mashing her head to the ground, put with their knees in her back, trying to get handcuffs on her, which they were unable to do until she basically was overwhelmed and they got her handcuffs and stood up. And so that's basically the situation. The youngest girl was that once they were sent to the police, once they were taken to the police department. There's a lot of detail. We don't have time to talk about that. But these children were expeditiously sent to Corinth, Mississippi, to the juvenile detention center, where they stayed until further, until they basically released them. And one of the girls' hand was it wasn't broke, but it was pretty much it was hurt bad.
Yes, sir. And I understand that they came to school the next day and put ankle monitors on them and put some draconian provisions saying that they can't even come out of the house.
So the video that y'all will see soon, we've been having some people from Russ College working on it so we can put our own coverage of it out there. We were conducting the video in their driveway, but they were under instruction that they can't even come out on their porch. Okay. And if they were seen on their porch, that they would be immediately arrested, So yeah. And these, ankle monitors was put on one of the daughters, one of our little girls, the youngest one at school. She was taken out of the cafeteria and taken to a disclosed, place, and administered the ankle monitor.
Man. See, brothers and sisters, I don't know about nobody, but let me read what their news release says. Show you listen to how wicked this is. I know it's wicked because I've been doing this for 30 years. Listen at this. News release. Arrest made in Monday shooting that led to multiple juvenile arrests. Senatobia, Mississippi. It was May 7th of this year. A Senatobia juvenile has been charged related to a shooting that occurred on Monday, May 6, 2024. On Monday, May 6, just prior to 3 p.m., the Senatobia Police Department received a call regarding several shots being fired near the 600 block of East Gilmore Street. While on the scene, officers saw an individual matching the description of someone involved in the shooting. Officers told the individual to stop, and he began to flee from the officers on foot. Officers were able to catch the armed suspect and take him into custody. Now listen, here comes the setup. This is the really, really wicked part. He says, as tends to happen in this neighborhood, when police take lawful action, a crowd began to gather and began to become unruly. A large crowd gathered and began to cause a disturbance. Orders were given to adults and juveniles to clear the roadway, where officers believed a crime scene to be located. Several individuals would not comply and were taken into custody for non-compliance. One juvenile was arrested for trespassing. Subject had previously been banned from the Senatobia Housing Authority property. 2 juveniles were arrested for simple assault on a police officer after striking an officer in the head with closed fists multiple times. Disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and obstructing public street. The mother of the juveniles was arrested for disorderly conduct and trespassing. Subject had previously been banned from Senatobia Housing Authority property. The adult sibling of the 2 juveniles was arrested for disorderly conduct. During the unrest, listen at the words, y'all, unrest, investigators were collecting evidence from the crime scene and beginning to gather details regarding the shooting. A short time later, investigators located a victim who was the intended target of the shooting. Using various resources, investigators were able to identify an individual involved in the shooting. On Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, at approximately 6 p.m., an additional juvenile was taken into custody and charged with aggravated assault connected to the shooting. He was taken into custody without incident at a residence in Como, Mississippi. Recent history shows, here's the other really, really wicked, funky part of this whole thing. Excuse me, man. Recent history shows that the Senatobia Police Department will proactively seek out those who endanger our community. That's so slimy. We do not take threats to public safety lightly, no matter who the offender is. Does that include you all? This shooting of multiple rounds occurred on a street where numerous juveniles were located, but you're locking up the juveniles. We responded to the area at the request of members of the community, and we took the action necessary to maintain the safety of the public and arrest offenders who will not comply with lawful orders. That's all. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to close tonight's podcast with these words. And actually, we got a little more time than I realized, Brother Lumumba. And this is not the actual close. I'm going to close these with these words, and we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back for about another 10 minutes. Brothers and sisters, in North Mississippi and throughout the state of Mississippi, because that's where we're working at. Really, this applies to all of us throughout this country. But the area of focus right now, the ground zero for us right now, is Mississippi. If we do not develop a level of operational unity between the various organizations that struggle for the liberation of Black people, we're going to have a terrible 2024. It's just getting started. And you think your heart hurts now? We need to begin to forge the path to a level of operational unity. No, we're not going to be the same. No, we're not going to agree. Your stomach don't agree with the rest of your body sometimes. It gets upset. You don't cut it out and flush it down the toilet or throw it in the trash. You do something to quell the stomach. You do something to see what's wrong. You do something to bring it back in agreement with the rest of the body. So we have to learn, brothers and sisters, that if we don't develop some level of operational unity for this year and beyond, we're going to really, really, really wish we had. We really, really, really are going to wish that we had. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these commercial announcements.
As an excuse not to stand up and fight your natural enemy. And the only people on this earth, Brother Walter, the only people on this earth that use their religion and their so-called belief in God as an excuse not to stand up and confront their enemies is my people. Negroes are the only people I know that use it.
I ain't dead, it's a pleasure to give my life just to live forever. He who weaponizes the blood of martyrs said, get your children ready for the slaughter. Blame the patriarchy, thank your fathers. But every racist devil had a racist mama when strange fruit meets forbidden fruit. Your hands up today, don't shoot, so say my name. Really can't afford this price of fame. Who knew the guy had a boomerang and he called it karma? She ain't never shied away from no drama. From 1555 to 1955, we watched it intensify. Some still believe the lies, cause niggas too scared to believe they eyes. My fear died in the Tallahatchie, rose from the dead, can't catch me. Patrons say nothing to get back, gave birth to
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your number one free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience The Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live Supreme. Be Supreme. Drink Supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
10,000 fearless on the move.
And we are back live at the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast again, and I'm your brother Abdul Shaheed Muhammad and host. Please, brothers and sisters, we are asking, I'm looking for 1,000 people, particularly in Marshall County, to subscribe to the Final Call News. We can deliver it right to your door. If you would like to receive a news publication that covers national and international news from a perspective that's not corporate driven, yes, stories of what's happening in Mississippi are oftentimes prominently displayed in the Final Call. If you wait on your local news to tell you what really happened, you will not get the full story. So subscribe to the Final Call News. If you want us to bring it to your doorstep, if you're close enough, we'll make it happen. Give us a call at 662-252-8999. I'm looking for 1,000 regular customers. We deliver to you every week, only $2 per issue. That's $8 a month. You lose that in a month. So make an $8 per month donation for the Final Call newspaper, 1,000 of you, and we will make sure it gets delivered to your doorstep. Give us a call, 662-252-8999. You can also send me an email at dremuhammad1@gmail.com. That's DREMUHAMMAD, the number 1 @gmail.com. If you want to be part of the 10K Fearless Tri-State, drop us a line at Post Office Box 517. 517, that is the same post office box that our brother Alfred Skip Robinson Abdul Aziz Muhammad used when he walked among us. So that post office box number has significance. Excuse me. Drop us a line at P.O. Box 517, Holly Springs, Mississippi, 38635. We also have available our Supreme Bean Pies for donation. Come by our location on Memphis Street 165. Get your Supreme Bean Pie all the way from Chicago. We'll also have those 2-pound bags of whiting fish. Y'all know y'all eat it every Friday. Make a donation to help and support us at the Holly Springs Study Group. We also have available a few bags left of that Supreme Bean chips, okay? So at this time, I have a caller on, and I want to afford that caller the opportunity. Share some words. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller. Are you there? Somebody's there. I hear you. Or are you? It sounds like some children. See, now the baby's. Who's it?
Like brother.
Oh, this brother Dubsack.
Yes, sir. I'm in the barbershop. I ain't know you had unmuted me.
I just did. I don't see your name. Dubsack is not here, man. I was wondering where you were, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Just still working, but listening to you brothers deliver the news to our people. I guess the only couple things that I could add to what I've heard tonight.
Go ahead.
Brother Commander Patton done a great job as tearing outside our narrative, the young lady's narrative on how this thing really went down. But one thing we noticed in the NAACP, all those incidents that Brother Pat just spoke of, we realized that it was not enough energy down there surrounding the community and getting them involved.
Yes, sir.
So here in Marshall County, 5310, we took it upon ourselves and made a vote. They empowered me to take the next steps, which was to reach out to all the surrounding branches, from DeSoto to Benton to Marshall to Panola to Lee to Monroe, all the way down to Tallahatchie. And by us unifying our efforts together, we got state conference of the NAACP involved. So there's mass attention from the NAACP on this matter. They already reached out to the Department of Justice and the FBI's and the MBI to get them involved. But a couple of things I wanted to bring up that hadn't been brought up. I hear a lot of questions around this situation, but one thing that stands out to me, no female officer handled the young ladies throughout this whole process. Only men. They was arrested, but never Mirandized, them nor their mother. Also, while in custody, they denied the young ladies a phone call, knowing they had the mother detained also. Those are the type of things that stood out to me when looking at the whole process. The basic rights rendering of the law, how they violate their rights as young adults. And we got to, like you said, we've been saying, we got to unify around this issue. Not only did we reach out to other branches, but we also reached out to you, Brother Minister of the Nation of Islam. We reached out to our street tribes, our brothers out there in the streets. Why? Because it's a unified effort. And when I look at it and I listen to you guys talk tonight, it was probably this, their actions that brought the Goon Squad to the hood. So I would reach out and employ and try to encourage our brothers out there in those street tribes. Hey, reform yourselves. Y'all calling these assaults in the hood. Not only y'all assaulting each other, but y'all bringing that attention, making these phone calls go to the Goon Squad, and they come in there and violate innocent women and children. So we need to reform ourselves. In order to be a part of that 10,000 feelers, brother, we got to reform ourselves first so we can be active participants.
Exactly.
I'm going to yield my time at that.
Yes, sir. Brother, thank you. And you're spot on, Brother Duzak, because of another thing, and I've already broached it to yourself, to Brother Lumumba, and a couple of other brothers, is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, of course, asked us after 10-10-15 to for 10,000 fearless men and women to go out into the community and get between the gangs and the guns. That's part of the battle, but that's an in-house thing. An in-house thing meaning I am me. And I know the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, we're not interested in no media coverage. We don't want their business in our business. We need to, as men and strong sisters, call our young brothers and say, brother, we don't want to condemn you. We're not here to chasten or chastise you. We want you to express to us where we have failed you. How do you really feel? And what can we do to make it right? Because you can condemn them all you want, but you don't know the circumstances. You just see the dark side of the brother. But he wasn't born that way. He didn't come up that way. Some circumstances of life. The interesting thing to me, white people were able to look beyond what Dylan Roof did. Y'all remember Dylan Roof and the Carolinas went into Emmanuel church and killed 9 black people, and they talked about how he was disillusioned. He wasn't 30 years old. I don't think he was 25. But we can never do a pathology of what happened to our babies that have them behaving the way they do. So I am suggesting we need to have what I am calling and what we are calling, let me put we, it ain't just me, because I want all of the pantheon of black organizations in Mississippi, with Allah God's help and the God by whatever name you call him, to convene and have a tour of real talk conversations throughout the state of Mississippi and where our people are, particularly the black townships, and talk to our young men and in the process, marshal them to get involved in whatever organization of their choosing. This is what the Honorable Louis Farrakhan asked us to do in 1995 when he had 2 million men in D.C. talking to them. He said, brothers, go home, join the organization of your choice, and get a spiritual base from the spiritual institution of your choice, and get involved in what's going on in your community to make it a decent and safe place to live. This is what we are asking in the wake of what is happening to our people. We have to improve. Brother Dovsack is right with hood reform. It is right in line with self-improvement is the basis for community development. We have the curriculum, and we have to make an effort to talk to our young brothers and make them part of the NAACP, make them part of the Black Liberation Movement, make them part of the Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, make them part of the Nation of Islam's Holly Springs Study Group. And all of us do what we can and do our part and remain united as a body, that we not continue to suffer our little girls being slammed to the ground and knees in their back. And I have to tell you, brothers and sisters, I met these babies. They're not even 5 feet tall. At best, they probably be 4'10", 4'11", probably about 115, 120 pounds. Little bitty sisters. They're 13, they're 12, 13 and 14 years old. And this is how they treat our girls. So I'm going to open it to my brother Lumumba, man. If you would, please give us some closing remarks, man. And Brother Simo and Brother Mac, I'm going to have another episode, brother, and I want you brothers to come on because our time is spent. And I certainly thank the two of you, brother, for taking time out. I know your commentary was limited, and I know there's a lot on your heart, man, because you're still on here. Now, you as well, Brother Dovsack, and the listening audience, thank you all for tuning in. But Brother Lumumba, brother, if you would, share with us some words as we close in terms of what you feel, some of the next steps, and give us a thumbnail sketch of where we're headed from here.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for that time, brother. I wanted to hear from Brother Seymour again, but I think I speak for my brother. I feel a kindred spirit with my brother, yourself, Dovsack, and all the other brothers that joined this liberation fight. But I'm gonna close us out, brother, by saying this, and I'm gonna be expeditious about it. We have a mutual friend, teacher, brother, Baba, brother Shabaka Afrika. And brother Shabaka Afrika was the president of the Creighton County NAACP. He taught me a lot of things, and he continued to do so. He told me, he said that a people would be discriminated against, oppressed, and even killed until they gain the moral character to stand up for their own humanity. I like to thank the grassroots organizations of the Black Liberation Movement, Elmer Geronimo Pratt, Red, Black, and Greenville, the mighty Nation of Islam, Yaga, the Gangster Disciples, the Vice Lords, and our legacy organization that we begin to be more activated with, the NAACP, for joining hands and to fight this mighty system of white supremacy. Francis Chris Wilson said that white supremacy is the most powerful system that works on our planet. She also said that the black man and woman should be the most serious people on the planet. Brothers and sisters, we got to get serious. These people have challenged our humanity. They challenged our integrity. And it's about time, like Dr. Isaac Richmond said, we have become a domesticated people. We have become a domesticated people. And we got too many establishment Negroes that's seeking first-class citizenship in a system that oppresses their own people instead of seeking the liberation of our people. And so that's the quandary, that's the dilemma that we continue to run into. And I'm imploring that we continue to congeal the way that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has employed that we do, along the lines of unity and the liberation of our people. So I thank you, Brother Shaheed, for having us on tonight. brother. We
Yes,
love
sir.
you. We love Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we love the liberation of our people. So thank you for having us on. We're gonna continue to fight this fight, and we will win.
Yes, sir. Most definitely, brother. Thank you, Brother Lumumba. Thank you, Brother Dovsack. Thank you, Brother Charles Moore. And thank you, Brother Keith Mack. Brothers and sisters, I close with words from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he said, no one, and I mean he said, no one can attempt to help our people do anything productive and constructive without feeling personal hurt, pain, loss, being evil spoken of, falsely accused, sometimes beaten, sent to prison, or even put to death. This is the path of Jesus. This is the path of Muhammad. And this is the path of every sincere person who wants to see his or her people delivered from our present condition. End quote. So, brothers and sisters, look, this is just one of several to come by God's permission podcast that will shine the light on this kind of evil wherever it manifests itself and to keep us united as a people. And there's going to be some good things. We want to bring the black businesses on because we want to direct people to where to spend our money. Because, brothers and sisters, this is just the beginning of a stratagem that's going to be one that's going to be employed and put into play and deployed against our enemy for some time to come until we see a better day. So we want to thank all of you for tuning in. And we're going to sign off for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. And please allow me to leave you as I came before you with the greeting words of peace. We say in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum, or peace be unto you.
Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi, sip. Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the massive 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us. See the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. 10K fearless. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move in Mississippi, Mississippi. and fearless on the